just on the defensive responsibilities overall of the center position, and what have you seen maybe in that regard from your game, but also the team's game improve as we spent some time on the road here?
Yeah, I think through the middle, a lot of guys take a lot of pride in their defensive play, and we work hard at it. We watch lots of video on it, so obviously it's a pretty important spot. And everyone just wants to everyone's not focused on offense. Everyone wants to be really good at the defensive side of the game too.
And on the center depth side of things overall, what is the makeup of having guys like Timmy, guys like Shane, Lars on your wing as well, but he can play center? What does that do for you individually to have that depth to be relied upon, especially on the road with the matchups?
Yeah, I think we're strong everywhere, but I also think like Pinsy and Timmy and Larsy, we got a really good center core, and I think they trust guys to go out at all times, and obviously, they're very trusted upon. So those guys are all great players.
And tonight against a good Vegas team on the road, fourth game on the road here, what's the key for the group overall going into this one?
Yeah, we got to bounce back. Obviously it's a close game last game, but we didn't get the win, we didn't get a point. So we know we need to come out. They're obviously a really good team. We're going to come out with a good start and get after them right away.
What's the challenge against a good Vegas team like that, as you highlight, a good team that plays a hard game? What are you looking to do from your individual standpoint going into tonight's game?
Yeah, I think just be heavy on pucks. They got a lot of big, heavy guys, a lot of guys that are very skilled and make a lot of plays. So, it's going to be a man's game out there tonight. Just be strong on pucks, heavy in corners, heavy in battles. So
first off, just talking about the center depth and, a lot of different guys who can play that spot, Timmy, obviously you, Deco as well, Dylan. What's it like for you guys to have that kind of center depth, especially on the road with the matchups, and what's the makeup overall of the center?
Yeah, I think it's huge obviously for us, especially on the road. Obviously we can't get the matchups we want, but I think even obviously Hallie came in and stepped up big for us. I know Lars are usually our first center, but we need him to step up too on the second line. But it's a hard league to win in, and you got to have center depth. And we're just lucky, obviously, because he's a big physical guy and he obviously can score goals. And then Timmy's obviously number one unbelievable center. And I just try to chip in defensively and a little bit offensively. So yeah, it's good depth, and if you want to win this league, that's a big part of it. And yeah, it's obviously one of our strengths for sure.
So you mentioned kind of the defensive side of the puck, and kind of how important is it for your line, but also the overall makeup of the group to help the D on the defensive side, especially on the road?
Yeah. Obviously, I think defending, obviously in the D zone is not easy for for our D-men, and whenever we could support them, it's obviously super important. There's a lot of good players on these opposing teams, and that's part of the game. You got to support them, and they only could do so much, so it's an onus on us to help them out. And I think that's a strength of our game is playing in the D zone, and we got to continue that if you want to keep on playing some good games.
Spoke to Ammo yesterday as well about the consistency of your line and just trying to maintain that consistency in all areas of the ice. What's the approach for you guys to just try and maintain that as the games go along?
Yeah, I just think talking it out, I think every game kind of gives you a different look. I think every team's different, so sometimes you got to change kind of your style throughout each game, and I think we just do a good job of communicating to each other throughout the game to kind of figure it out. And they're two obviously really smart players, so just talking to them and kind of like I said, communicating and trying to figure out how to beat the opposing team.
Quickly, what do those conversations maybe look like in game, pre-game? Like how much communication are you in with those guys, but also the coaching staff and what they're hoping to get out of your lineup?
Yeah, I think for all lines, they have a game plan for us, the coaches, kind of how to beat the opposing team, and we try to execute that obviously. But yeah, as the game goes on, they give you different looks, and I think me, Ammo, and G do a good job of kind of giving each other good ideas, and yeah, I just think we're all kind of receptive to it, and we kind of just work off each other, and that's why I think we've been pretty successful.
Tonight against Vegas, a good team, tough building to play in. What's the key for the group going into this one?
Yeah, good start. I think you don't want to get on your heels too early. I think you want to kind of set the tone early and try to have a good start, and continue to play our game and be physical. Have a good first road period and then kind of go from there and chip away at it.
Playing with Timmy just over this recent little stretch, how have you seen his defensive game grow on that line with you and Drake?
Yeah, I think everything. I think him playing in the PK too, it raises your awareness level on all aspects, and it's been pretty fun to see him go and trying to create a little space and going to the net. And he's just, I always tell him it's your puck every single night. You carry it, you do your thing, and it's been special to see him go.
And in the offensive zone specifically for your line as well on the forecheck, how much do you maybe take pride as a unit to be able to generate through that forecheck winning pucks?
No, that's the point. Like try to get in there and then look for one of those guys, and they create so much space for each other and give and goes. So it's fun to see them go.
And now going into this trip, the back half of this trip here, Vegas, 2-1 so far. What's the approach going into tonight's game?
Yeah, it was great to start the trip the way we did with 2 wins, and now we, all of a sudden we lost one. We felt like we played a decent game, and we want to get back into the win column and keep setting up the road trip to make it a really good one.
C'est quoi l'approche contre une bonne équipe ici, entre Vegas et une autre équipe de la conférence de l'Ouest?
C'est pas un aréna facile à venir jouer, donc on est excité de l'opportunité, puis je pense que le fait que de la façon qu'on a commencé notre voyage avec 2 victoires nous permet d'avoir un excellent voyage, de rendre de quoi de spécial, donc on va essayer d'aller chercher 2 points ce soir.
First off, Coach, any lineup updates to provide at tonight's game?
Same lineup. Linus is in net.
And going into tonight's game, another good Western Conference team here. What's the key for the group?
Well, we're playing a good team, first and foremost. It's no secret that Vegas has been one of those teams that whenever you play them, you know you have to be on top of your game. And we're going to have to be tonight. They play well in this building. It's a loud building. And we're going to have to be ready to go right from the drop of the puck.
How important has the center depth been amongst the team over this little stretch on the road here? Tim Stützle specifically, what have you liked from his game overall, especially on the defensive side of the puck?
I think our center position is obviously a strength of ours, not just with Tim, but with Dylan and Pintz, Ellers. Hallie's played well. Obviously with Ritz out, he can also play center. And Timmy's game's just continuing to grow. It's not just about points with him. He's got the puck a lot, makes a lot of plays, but he also plays on both sides of the puck.
What does that allow you to do from a matchup perspective quickly on having those 4 or 5 guys to be able to play outside?
Yeah, it's when you're on the road, you don't get last change, and there's a lot of teams. One we're playing tonight that's, they got 4 good lines. Those top 2 lines are very strong offensive lines, and their bottom 2 are, they play sound hockey and hard hockey, so you're not going to get your matchups, and when you've got some center depth, it helps.
Your captain could be back with you on Friday. I know one player doesn't make a team, but how did you manage to have such a good record without him?
Yeah, I think we, as a group, we have the mentality of just next man up. As much as we miss Brady, if someone else has to step up, the depth of our group has obviously shown and played well, and that's a big part of today's NHL.
I think he stayed around even if he wasn't playing on that road trip, particularly. How important was it for the team to have him around?
Well, he's the captain of our team, for starters, so just having him around, his energy, he's a smart guy too, he understands the game, and him being able to send subtle messages to our group is important.